go live.
You're live.
It says we're live.
Are you live on that one?
Go on.
You know what? Let's open the third computer here.
Yeah. You know what it was is I left here. This may or may not be working. I don't know, folks. We're working on it. Let's see here.
Something just happened.
Somebody comment if they can see anything.
I'm seeing an ad.
Well, look.
There we go. It's working.
Hey! Whew. God.
So which one is it live from? That one or that?
It's this one. This is where the camera's
Yeah, look.
Yeah. All right. Whew. Okay.
Go to the Zoom and talk to you in the Zoom, so I'm not watching myself on YouTube delayed.
Good idea.
Okay.
All right. Wow. Thanks, everybody. Sorry for the delay. You're not surprised by that at all. We've been late for everything ever in the history of, my life and Roadkill. And today is a very, very special day. Before we get started with our special guest, who you can probably already see, Tony Angelo, we're going to talk about our next live stream, which will be Friday night, February 19th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Really 9:30. Just kidding.
Is it? What did I say?
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
by the time we actually get live.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, all right. Anyway, this Friday, February 19th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, come back here to Finnegan's Garage. We are going to have trivia night once again. And the grand prize will be a Tremec T56 Magnum 6-speed double overdrive manual gearbox with a Silver Sports transmissions installation kit. It's going to be awesome. We're going to give away all kinds of Finnegan Speed Marine merch, including the unreleased and brand new caddy shirt. We're going to have other random prizes, but at the end of the night, we are giving away, I don't know, $8,000 or $9,000 worth of goods, including that Tremec Magnum gearbox, which is going to be rad. The way you guys win is watch the last 4 episodes of Finnegan's Garage that we uploaded. The trivia questions will all come from there. You will answer in the comment box, and the first person on our screen to correctly answer each question wins the prize. And some of you are really fast. We've had winners from more than one episode, same people. So it will not be easy, but it will be fun. And forget all that. We brought the man, the myth, the legend, Tony Angelo from Hot Rod Garage. Woo! Multiple stints on Roadkill, drifting maniac, bench pressing transmission, son of a gun, and my friend to the Finnegan's Garage. Thank you, Tony.
What's up, guys? Glad to be here virtually or whatever. Stoked. What do you want to talk about?
A lot. I think the first thing we should talk about is Drag Week 2019, because you and I have never really sat down with the peoples and just gone over what happened and how it turned out for us and what's happened since then. So let's start. Tell me, how did Drag Week start for you? I don't even remember when I talked to you about doing it.
That's funny you say that. The week stands so clearly in my head, and it was such a fun, big moment, but I don't remember when we started talking about it. I know at one point you called me and you were like, do you want to do Drag Week? This is what happens whenever I am on a Roadkill usually. I get a random phone call and they're like, hey, do you want to do this random ass thing? And I'm like, yes. And then they're like, cool, we're going to pick you up or put you on a plane in like a very short amount of time. That's usually how it goes. It's somewhat haphazard. And I'm like, cool. So that's what happened with like One Lap, and that's what happened with a bunch of the other ones. So I was like, yeah, let's do. You were like, hey, I have this. I'm trying to get. You had like not gotten the title the year before, and I think we started talking about. You know what? Considering all the lead up, we must have talked about it with a decent amount of time, because I remember you and I were like, I was like, how's the car going? As you're getting the car back together. So it must have
kept asking me, yeah.
Yeah. It must have been 4 or 5 months ahead of time. And you were like, hey, I want to do Drag Week as a Roadkill, which, if you guys know, a Roadkill production is usually very much fly by the seat of your pants. And it was going to be a big deal, like a lot of shooters and a lot of camera guys and like just fully committed. And David was going to be announcing, so we decided to do it. So yeah, I think we got on board, and I just, because, you know, I did so much drifting, I'm super duper competitive. And I remember even as you were like getting into testing, I was like, how's the car working? Is there like, do we have a workflow for like getting the car stripped down and to like road mode and then back into race mode? And like, is it fast? And like, is it reliable? And because at that time you hadn't got it to go straight yet. So I remember very early on, you know, I'm again, just like super crazy competitive whenever I get into anything. So I was like, how are we going to win this thing? So yeah,
it was hard for you because we did talk about it way in advance, and we talked about strategies to make the car competitive. You know, we talked about having a workflow where every day we had a checklist and we knew what to take on and off the car and how to convert it from street to race mode. And we had talked about practicing that beforehand. And then over the next few months, you were like, how's the car? And I'm like, I haven't seen the motor, you know, like,
yeah,
and this is how drag week went for us. We were filming Faster with Finnegan without you. And the moment it wrapped, Cotton and I hauled the carcass of Blasphemy to Mooresville, dropped the motor in the car at Customs by Biggin, found out the flywheel had been spinning on the ring gear and it was no good. The car wouldn't start. And that was after like changing 3 starters, welding starters, trying to figure out why we can't crank this Hemi over, which is, oh, by the way, what was happening when I raced John Chase. We just didn't know it. And so the plan was to get there early, dyno test the car at a drag strip, and then head over there comfortably to drag week ready. Well, the night before drag week, we dyno tested the car. And at midnight, we dragged it down the block to Mooresville Dragway, the 8th mile track there, and just hole shotted it like 3 or 4 times, and then threw it in Square Force 1, and with no sleep drove straight to the first track where you were just standing around going, where the hell are these guys? And so the first pass down the track, I think we ran like an 875 or something. I didn't even know if the car would go straight. I had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah. All the talk we had done about like getting everything in order and dedicating the kind of time to it. You're super busy. I'm super busy. And like, it would just, you know, at the end of a week here and there, I'd go like, how are we doing? And you'd be like, not good. We're not there yet. I don't know. I honestly was like, I showed like, when you were like, we're getting it tuned tonight, the day before, I was like, we're super screwed. I was like, we are screwed. This is going to be another roadkill disaster. And I actually had committed to going to LS Fest with the Twin Pala. So I bailed like a half day early there and flew right to drag week, which was the other thing is like, I was exhausted from like 3 days at LS Fest. And you were like, oh, the car's a disaster. And I was like, we have not set ourselves up for success here. Like, absolutely not.
And we had no workflow. Like even on day 1, after we ripped off a really good pass, we get back and we can't get the wheels off the car. There goes 2 hours. But then the trailer was a mess because I didn't have time to really pack and organize it for drag week. I just threw everything in my garage in the trailer. So we go 8:52 and then we spend hours just trying to figure out how do we get all this crap in the trailer. We ended up leaving my spare wheels in the dirt. Near impound because they wouldn't fit in the trailer.
I forgot about that.
And, I'll get these later. Yeah, I mean, that's what it was. We certainly started like super disheveled. The car was fast, which was like a dream. You know, the car miraculously like absolutely ripped. So I was like, all right, we have it. That like energized me to be like, how do we do this thing? And we fumbled through. You know, that car is so gnarly. You got to like, there was so much involved. Street wheels, change the tune, change the fuel over. You know, I mean, you had to like, and you don't have a tune switch. Like you had to get the laptop out, get in there, load it up, hit it, make sure everything was all right. Like there was so much and pack all the tools up. So yeah, it wasn't until, we started off fast and way behind like everybody else.
Yeah. We hit the first checkpoint almost every night when nobody was there.
Yeah.
Like we were hitting.
We were the last people at every single checkpoint. It was so like we did the worst job of it. But
and this is how bad it was, right? My dream, part of the fun for me for drag week is I spent years covering it for Hot Rod and seeing the party in the hotel parking lot every night of all those legends who had made it through the checkpoints and to the hotel, and everybody's sitting there drinking moonshine. That was what in my head is what was going to happen for me and you. And you and your wife bought me some awesome beer that sat in that cooler for the first 4 days of drag week. We never touched it because we were driving all night. We never made it to a hotel. In fact, the very last night of drag week, I used a 30 pack of Bud Light as a wheel chalk in that car because we got to the hotel at 6 a.m, dude. It was gnarly.
But yeah, we got it. I mean, you know, that's what it took. I wanted to win, man. Like, I didn't know what the competition would be like. I just knew we had a shot, and I was just like, we're going to do whatever it takes. But I did eventually write like a workflow out. I scribbled one out.
You had one every day.
We had one. Yeah, it was like, here's what it takes to go in. Here's what it takes to go out. Don't forget about X, Y, and Z. As stuff pops up, we were like chasing small gremlins for a while, but still running real fast. And then the trans broke, and that was our big day, really. That was sort of our make or break point.
Yeah, do you have a clip of that?
We do have a clip.
We have a clip of that. Hold on. We're gonna try to next level this whole thing, and I think we have a clip that we can play. I think we have a couple of drag week clips we can play for the people. So
You're here first.
Share screen. Oh, that you're right there. Yep.
Okay.
Find the clip.
All right. Let's see here. It's right here.
All right. Now maximize that.
Okay.
And play, and everybody should be seen.
You're almost there. Back down a little bit. That's it. Go forward a little bit. That's it. Done.
Okay, so there, look there. Now it's playing. All right, so we're gonna shut up so they can hear the clip. Yes. All right. So that was day 4 of drag week. We hadn't slept the whole week. We actually got to that track early by not sleeping at all that morning.
That's right.
We get there and we have nothing but problems. The throttle position sensor broke on the car. We think we fixed it, maybe, but not really. Then I go up there and blow up first gear in the transmission. Then, by a pure miracle, Andy Starr's in the pits from Hillborn, and he has a gear set. And you know how to work on a G-force because you have one in your drift car. And Ben Brown, you, me, borrowed some tools, and in an hour and a half, 2 hours tops, had that trans out of that car back in. And the people just witnessed you bench press it back into the car because I really wasn't holding anything.
Yeah, I mean, they're not that heavy, and I was like so fired up at that point. Like I was like, we just have to get a real pass in, and I don't know, just wanted to hammer it up in there. The harder part was I threw it on my chest and dragged it under the car. Before that, that part actually hurt, but then the rest of it wasn't that bad. They're not that heavy.
It was hardcore.
I wanted to get it done real bad. I remember being like, also like,
let's do the jack.
This is my first time not being the guy behind the wheel ever. And if you have known like what all my like Brendan and Mikey and like all those dudes I've watched them kill themselves for me over the years in pro drifting. I was like stoked to be that dude. You know what I mean? Like endless sleepless nights and the stuff I watched those dudes do when I would like park a car 2 feet into a wall and stuff like amazing. So it was super fun. I was just stoked and I was like, we can do this. I was like, I know we can do this. If we have the time right, we can get this done. And we were on schedule and I was like, we are putting this car on the ground and this car is going down the track. So
it's crazy as like my trans was apart at the exact same time in a hotel parking lot. Like y'all didn't even know that.
We had no idea because we got split up the day before.
My trans was out and tore apart and I was dumping broken pieces out at the exact same time y'all were working on that.
You killed it, which is why I have nothing but love for you even after I play this next clip. So everybody be patient. Newburn, you want to share the screen?
Yeah. Let me try that here.
Play it. Let's play another clip.
So we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
We're gonna go right here.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh God.
I need a towel. Yeah, you do. That was like the worst injury we've ever had on Roadkill. Tony was tightening one of those bolts and it slipped. He punched Finnegan with the jack handle right in the eye and cut him open. But he's taking it well. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even want to stop. He's still lashing valves while dripping blood on his header. Valves are lashed.
Oh, yeah. That was a rough one. Have people seen this already?
That was in the Roadkill episode. People have probably seen it.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at that was rough. I'm sorry about that one. I honestly, like, you didn't make a sound. I didn't even know it happened. And the worst part is this, like, you know, it's the head stud that goes down, and you can just barely get an open end on it. And I said it, I even probably out loud, I was like, let me just get like one more. I had already gotten everything I could get on it, and I was like, let me just get one more little bump on this thing, and then I wound up whacking you right in the face. And I didn't know. They walked away, and someone was like, "You just knocked Mike cracked him right in the face with that pipe." And I was like, "What?" And you were like, you just kind of like walked away.
Well, it happened, and I'm like, "Don't stop, just keep going." So I finished. I think I was lashing a valve or something. So I finished it, and I'm like, "My face is warm. Let me walk over here. I'm pretty sure I'm bleeding inside of the Hemi." And the Hemi leaked internally so bad I didn't want to add any problems to the mix with my blood. But yeah, no, we're cool. We're cool.
Yeah, we're
Just
cool. I feel like I made up for it at this point. The worst part was, I think that was the day I did it, and that's like I met your parents like 2 minutes afterwards.
Oh yeah, I had as soon as it happened, we had to go do an autograph signing, and I did it with the band-aid on my face and blood running down it, and I was totally offending just people that had come up to see us, and I was like looking at him this way. My mom was sitting over here; she could see it, you know.
I had to be like, "I'm sorry, I hurt your son." I'm really trying to help. Well, that was the other thing, is like that was the weirdest day for us, because we were there, but we weren't in the episode. But the card like exploded, so we were like, "Can we get involved? Like, can we help? Should we help?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys were there for Roadkill nights. We were filming an episode, and we were so late because the Hemi broke, and we had to rebuild it on a picnic table, that we got there late. And it was time to race the B versus Blasphemy, but the motor was milkshaked again. And so I was like, the heads have to come off. There's no way Dave and I could do that in an hour and a half. But if you bring in you and Dulcich and Lucky and everyone else, then yes, you can do it in an hour and a half.
It happened like 4 times that week. It's crazy.
It did.
Hell of a week.
Yeah.
All right. Enough about the past. Let's talk about the future.
Yeah.
Tony Angelo has himself a brand new YouTube channel you all should go watch. It's not called Tuned Up. It's called Stay Tuned. Stay Tuned. That's the name of the channel. And it's awesome. I'm stoked you're doing it. So many people.
I have a clip.
You have a clip.
I have a clip.
You have a clip. So many people I know now are making YouTube content, and I'm stoked about it. And let's play the clip.
Let's play the clip.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
All right.
Full screen.
I'm finally starting my own channel. I love this stuff. If you guys do too, be sure to subscribe. There's going to be all sorts of fun coming on this channel. I'll see you next time.
Sweet. Yeah. Into those jorts. Feeling that for myself. Yeah, it's so funny. Like, you know, I'm first off, thank you. I don't know if you've seen any of this stuff yet, but we're like picking up steam with every episode, I feel like, and there's all sorts of like we sort of started a little shaky, but already stuff is a ton better. And I've wanted to do a YouTube for years, and just kind of like full transparency, I had to like rework my contract with Motor Trend, and eventually they were like, okay, cool. So that happened in the summer, and then we've just kind of started really cranking them out. And I think it's pretty good stuff. And you know, we have so much that we're always building here, and I feel like it's crazy because now that the YouTube is rolling, like I want to get back in the shop and I want to like do more, and all these projects that have been kind of like laying around, I'm like, let's get them going. You know, my CUDA for sure. This Cutlass I've got, my buddies, you know, Pat's Dart, all this other stuff. So we are in production over here.
Dude, I'm stoked. And it reminded me you even had the CUDA, because I hadn't seen it for so long. And I remember going to SEMA and seeing it, and because I knew you were thrashing on it, I could see, you know, every now and again you guys in the shop killing yourselves to build it. And I remember when I saw it and the poster at SEMA, I was like, oh dude, that made me love CUDAs. I loved it. I loved everything about it. And so I was like, you know, damn, we need to trade cars. But then I watched your episode, which shows the seedy underbelly of SEMA project builds. And now I don't know. Let's roll the clip.
You want to see a clip of it?
Let's show the people
why
I might not want to trade anymore.
I got you.
I believe it's that one
right here.
Yeah. I did that where
we didn't have time. I never went back and fixed it because I hate these flares and I don't like the look. And it's a mess.
Hold on. Let's start from the beginning here.
Now we're going to go to the worst part of the car in the back. All right. So it's like 2 days before SEMA. The car's got wheels sticking out as far as we planned, but like we had no way to cover them up. We got these flares that I wasn't in love with to start because they're just like old school nonsense. And last minute, to get the car on the trailer, we hadn't slept in like 3 days. Yeah. I wound up just deeply hacking up my CUDA and doing a terrible job of fitting these over fenders. If you look, this is disgusting. That's the inside of the car there. This should all be like pinched up, beautifully closed off and welded. We didn't have time. I never went back and fixed it because I hate these flares and I don't like the look. And it's a mess.
I love it.
So anyway, in your YouTube episode on Stay Tuned, I'm watching it and I'm reminiscing about the car and I'm like, oh man, I forgot how cool this thing was. Like, and you've updated it. The roll cage is insane. And you guys are the front fenders and you're like, yeah, look at this. These are all full of Bondo. We had to buy them last minute. And I'm like, all right. Still want to trade. And then you got to the back and you pulled that over fender off. And I was like, damn, not only do I not want to trade, I feel like you owe me money.
What are we trading for?
I don't know. I got a Firebird. I got things.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that honestly turned me off so much. First off, I wanted a CUDA forever. I was like a Mopar kid. And I got this thing and they're like, we're going to give you this Hemi and like, we're going to get it together and it'll be dope. And then when I even didn't get it right in that video, the SEMA transport truck was at the tech center when I was cutting those flares. Like they had pulled in and they're like, load this car up. And I was like, ugh! And I'm like, just hacking through the whole. And I was like, I hate this whole moment. Like, I hate that my sweet blue CUDA, I now have to like cut these things in. And they're not what I really want. And the guy is breathing down my neck and I haven't slept in 2 days. So I hacked it all up. And that's why it's sad for like years. I was like, I can't look at this thing. I don't want to look at what's underneath here. But now it's been enough time. I'm going to do a little bit different vibe with it. We'll get it cleaned up. And then sure, we could trade for something down the road. It'll be dope.
I totally understand you've had to do something for a TV show and you were so disgusted by it that you need to step away from this thing for a while. And in fact, I've been in your situation way back in the day. The very first road trip with Blasphemy, we drove it from LA to North Carolina to go to Hot Rod Power Tour. Well, I don't think anyone knows this, but originally that car was supposed to get transported to Power Tour. In fact, while we were building it, the transporter showed up and it wasn't ready. Those dudes were helping us assemble the car. Stayed an extra day and finally we're like, man, we got to go. And I was like, oh wow, okay, well, you guys go. The only way we can do this is to finish the car ourselves and drive it. And that's how we ended up driving all the way to North Carolina and Blasphemy the first time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I forgot all about that until right now. Like that's how that happened.
It turned out great though.
It did.
That was a great episode.
I did. I loved it. Yeah, love the CUDA. When you're ready, let's talk. Let's talk.
We'll get it. I have like the plans for it. I'm gonna change that vibe a little bit. So Matt Murray, one of the dudes from Eastwood, he does iron trap. He does all like pre-war stuff. He does like hand shape and metal. He's like a couple towns over. I'm gonna rope him in if he doesn't know it yet or not, to make some metal flares for the back. I may do like a full fiberglass front end on it with flares again, and then I want to do like either white or black with flake, and on top of that, like a proper panel paint job, like a 70s Street Freak like panel job. I want it to be ridiculous. So
yeah, after that, yeah, definitely. I love it. I love all these ideas. Let's talk more current events. Unbeknownst to me, you were on a little television show called The Bachelor this week.
Yeah. It's not something you watch all the time?
Didn't know it was still on. I gotta be honest. I don't know if I've ever actually watched it. I'm sure my wife has back in the day. But it was all over social media that you were on there. And we have a clip.
We have a clip. You want to see it?
We might get sued, but let's play it anyway.
Right,
We bootlegged
let's
this off of YouTube. We totally bootlegged this off YouTube. Let's try it.
Yikes.
Oh my god, I'm shaking.
That hurts my soul. Real talk. How did that happen to you, and what was that experience like?
First off, let me just say I love Dodge, and I hope they still love me. I was out of my control. It was like I've done a bunch of stunt driving for commercials and stuff, and obviously was a pro drifter for a long time. And sort of one of my old contacts, my buddy Naoki, who runs Drift 101 in Los Angeles, they were shooting in a Pennsylvania, like big, beautiful resort near Pittsburgh because of COVID. They had like taken over the whole resort, and they were like, who in Pennsylvania can do this? So he was like, you should hit up Tony Angelo. And we started talking about it. And after like getting corporate approval and whatever, I hit up Dodge, and they're like, of course, we want a new, cool, sexy car. And I was like, cool, like I'll bring some Hellcats. And Dodge was like, yeah, that's cool. And the thing is this, like, when I saw it, I was like, first off, we get there and they're like, hey, we want to, this is the kind of insanity that was getting thrown around. They go like, hey, we had Lil Jon here, and we did he did this like rage room thing with like, and what if we, instead of like taught them how to drift, we like did that with the cars? And I was like, no, you want to like instead of the hammers, we'll use these new Hellcats. And I was like, absolutely not. That's not a thing we're going to do with these cars. And they're like, all right, cool. What if we set up like an obstacle course? And I was like, if you want to set up we can make like a cone course or whatever, with like wedding cakes on them, all this nonsense. And so we did that. And then Matt wound up driving through pretty much all of it. The cars weren't too bad. I mean, he knocked the mirrors off. I'm sure ABC paid for them, but it wasn't exactly my intention. We shot like a half day of like me giving them ride-alongs, me doing some pretty gnarly stuff with the cars, and then like some pretty fun like in-car goofing around, and then like a contest between them, and they wound up just using like 2 minutes of the like day we shot.
Well,
and then he drove through a lot of junk, and I was like, I'm sorry, Dodge, I love you, please don't be mad at me. So we'll see what happens next time.
For everybody at home that's worried about those cars, I can without hesitation say they are remarkably durable, because
there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, like Roadkill took them off road, like a Viper and 2 Hellcats, and jumped them and drifted them and peeled the rubber off the side, off the rims, like. And those cars were not totaled, even though everybody thought they were. The other takeaway from your appearance on The Bachelor is that you now have a lot of brand new female fans, because most of the comments were, my wife was watching this and I'm yelling out Tony.
Yeah.
Which, it does 2 things. It tells the world that guys are watching that show, with their wives. And also ladies just got introduced into drifting and the Tangela.
Yeah, I got a couple nice DMs from some soccer moms since just checking in on me, making sure I'm okay. So that's nice.
Okay. We have one more clip.
Right.
You got it, right?
Oh, is this the lookalike?
We have one more clip, and I just want to set this one up by saying that, as if the pandemic didn't make our world in 2020 and beyond weird enough, David Hasselhoff dropped a music video last July, and I'm not entirely sure what the premise of the video was, even after watching it 3 times.
Yeah.
And but what I can say is this: he is like a Jean-Claude Van Damme circa 90s kung fu badass with a Lamborghini Countach. There is a gang of skateboarders, and one of them looks just like you.
I think you're the leader.
Cool.
Which is the only reason I want to play this video, and it's weird and makes me laugh. So this is David Hasselhoff's, what is it called? True Survivor? Yeah, let's just play this.
All right.
two regular ass drinks and went like this. And that was it, like set for life.
He probably
If
didn't
they
even.
hadn't-
Somebody
if they
else.
hadn't called it an Arnold Palmer, like
There he is.
There's Tony. Kind of. Just enough of you to make justifying playing this.
That's perfect. Yeah, somebody sent me that. I didn't know what it was from. They were like, I got a couple messages on that one. They were like, "This is you, right?" And I was like, "No, that's not me. That's not me." But cool, I guess. Yeah, that's wild. I don't know what it is. I get people like, "Oh, this guy looks just like you," and I'm like, "No." Like I get it a lot, and I'm like, "That guy doesn't look anything like." It's always like, "No, not even close. That guy's a different race. We look totally different." That guy weighs 50 pounds more than me. And then that one, I was like, no, I can see it. That's a good one. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'll tell you what it is. He does not look exactly like you at all, but there's a vibe there. And granted, it's more Village People than Tony Angelo, but I've seen you in a jean jacket. I've seen you in jorts. I've seen you with a beard. I've seen you with cop glasses. There's a vibe that you pull off that not few humans can. And every now and again, you just see somebody that kind of has the vibe, and which makes it, a perfect excuse to shout out David Hasselhoff.
Yeah,
and his horrific music video.
Oh.
What is he up to these days? That, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, that was last year. I'm sure he's living large off that.
He's an enigma, man.
Yeah. All right. What else can we talk about? The first week of March. I already know you're busy. You got stuff going on. But for those of you at home, we've decided that C10 has sat long enough. And the only way it was going to get done was if I put a deadline on it and a destination. And so we have decided to gather up 4 of my friends, bring them here in the garage. And the first week of March, we are going to make that truck run and drive. And we're going to film every day here, try to drop an episode every day that week. And then on I believe the 6th, whatever that Sunday is, we're going to try to drive this from Georgia to Kernersville, North Carolina, home of MRC Fabrications. And we're going to go there and check out my caddy and have ourselves hopefully a road trip in this thing and finally make the C10 living and breathing again.
I'm sure it'll go flawlessly.
Always does.
Yeah,
Always
I love that truck. I mean, I will love that truck. I've loved the idea of that truck for a long time,
Yeah.
It like kept getting more gnarly, but never got finished. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you'll put a car together and then you'll be like, it needs more power, it needs more of this. And you're like, you put a motor in and then you take motor out and then like you put a different, you're like, oh, different tram, try to sell the transmission, but like it never goes anywhere.
Yeah, it never left, but it kept getting
better. Yeah. Who's coming over to work?
So my friend Colin Seaburn and his friend Andrew are coming. Michael Wayne Cotton, who you guys know from Fast with Finnegan, he's coming out. This guy, and between how many is that? 5 of us? Between the 5 of us, we're going to knock out a full stainless steel exhaust system and header build, hardline the fuel and hydraulic systems, wire the entire truck, mount the bed,
put the front clip on,
mount the radiator.
I
mean, it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
That's a lot.
But I feel like we definitely would pull it off if you were here, but I know you got stuff going on. But I feel like we can pull this off.
I think so.
Yeah. And
there comes a point there are like too many people. Like you can only get so many people around a car. You know what I mean? Like 5 is probably the max of like actually getting stuff done and not getting in each other's way. But I think you get it done. What motor's in that thing now? Is that an LT5?
It's an LT4.
Okay.
Which I've had to learn a lot about. They have some quirks, with the direct injection and everything else and the fuel system. And they just have random things on the side of the motor that you can either use or not use. Like there's an engine oil cooler mounted on the driver's side of the block that actually gets plumbed to the cooling system of the truck if you want to. But it also eats up room where the header would go and you don't have to actually use it. So we took it off, just stuff like that.
Yep.
So we're doing that. First week of March, everybody. We'll have more details here and on Instagram. And on Instagram, you can see more details. I'm Finnegan999. You are Tangelo?
Angelo 96.
Angelo 96.
David Newbern.
I have no idea what you are. It's not because I don't care. It's just, I just can't remember.
It's all good.
And so there'll be more details for that, more videos on that. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. What's next, Dave?
Let's talk about Blasphemy's motor. Let's do that one.
That
one.
Yeah. Do we have a clip and then a photo? So let's play the clip of the glory of Blasphemy, day 5 of Drag Week, and how it ended.
Okay, let's do this.
And
right here.
let's play that, and then we'll talk about where she is at now.
Yes! 904. Finnegan just locked it up. He is your winner for A gas at the 15th annual Hot Rod Magazine Drag Week. Tony Angelo on the starting line, losing his mind.
Get out of that car.
Was that enough?
Yeah, that was insane. Are you kidding? Oh my God, I love you right now.
Was it enough?
Yeah, no. Are you kidding? We win. We won. You won. You won Drag Week.
I thought I had 89.
904. You're in the left lane.
I thought I was the other end.
It was nuts.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Oh my God, did you see that wheelie?
Oh my God. I won. Congratulations.
That was great.
Yeah, amazing. So Newburn, that's what happened when me and Mike went on Drag Week. What happened when you guys went on Drag Week?
We never went on Drag Week.
There you go.
Well, Rocky Mountain, whatever.
He's
He's talking about that time.
Yeah. It was my first day. Okay.
Got it.
So that was Drag Week 2019. Hardest I've ever worked at anything in my entire life. Like, I have never slept that little. I've never worked that hard. And then was successful at it. We actually won our class, crushed the record in the class. Like, it was cool. And then since then, 2020 didn't go so well for the car. We only tried to enter one event, Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0, and we destroyed the motor on day 1. And here's a clip or a photo or whatever of what that motor kind of looks like right now.
What is that? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
holy hell.
That's what happens when you put one of the shift linkages on upside down and you launch the car in second gear, and then at 7,500 RPM, try to put it in first gear because you think that's second gear.
Yeah, and 19,000 RPMs happens.
Yeah, you lock up the rear wheels, break a connecting rod. And I've said it before, the great thing about a roots blower is it's pretty much a food processor. Whatever happens in one cylinder just gets redistributed to the rest of the engine.
Yeah.
And so the Hemi is like flat out junk, worst it's ever been. It crank, rods, pistons, camshaft. The block is pretty well toast. Cylinder heads got beat up. We can save the blower, the injector, and probably weld up the heads, but she is wasted. Yeah. So if you're at home watching this and you feel like going to fsmgarage.com and buying a Blasphemy t-shirt, please do. That would help out, because I got things I want to do with that car this summer. And now I feel like we've found every conceivable way to break that engine.
Right.
Because we don't suck. We're not breaking it the same over and over again. We're finding new and creative ways to do it. I feel like we've exhausted all of those ways.
I hope so.
And so should you buy a t-shirt or a sticker pack or a hat and join Team Blasphemy in 2021, we promise to do better.
Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe you'll send them some Hemi parts, broken ones. You got lots of them.
Yeah, we could actually do that. Friday night on the live stream, maybe we'll have some trivia questions. Win yourself a broken piston. All right, the last thing I want to talk about before I let you go here is bucket list cars. I've been fortunate enough to acquire a couple of them. I've only got 2 left on my bucket list that I need to build before I die. What is on your bucket list, Mr. Angelo?
Wait, you have like a hard, fast list, a real one?
Yeah, I have ones that like it's non-negotiable. I want to experience them from bed.
Okay.
You want me to tell you mine first?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So Mark IV Supra.
Yeah, I know that. You told me that. That's a good one.
Love the body style. I will never get over the body style. Even when they're stock with just bigger wheels on them. I don't even need a body kit on it.
Those are awesome.
Love the motor, love the car. And C2 Corvette, 63 to 67. I want to build a really fast street strip car. Thank you, Narcoleptic Customs. I want to build a fast C2 street strip car. Those are the last two on my list.
Please do that.
I want to. The problem with the C2 is the cost of entry is huge. I've been staring at them a lot lately. A good roller that's already turned into a drag car but isn't a street car is 45 to 50K. And then you've got to convert it back to, being able to drive on the street. But you gain your good chromoly chassis, you gain your good suspension. But a good street car is 45 to 50K. And then you've got to do chromoly chassis, you've got to do all the other stuff. So it's a ridiculously expensive car to build, which is why I've never done it. But someday I'd like to.
Yeah, well, I told you, and maybe we can get this done at some point because we're obviously going to have to collaborate our YouTubes.
Yes.
Is that there is an old C2 drag car hidden away in a barn a couple miles away that I know of, that one of my buddies that works at S&W has been trying to warm this old lady up on the idea of us getting that out of there. But I'm not sure where he is right now, but he also wants to buy it. But maybe like for the greater good, he'll let you buy it.
I would love to come up there with you, and together all of us pull that thing out of a barn. That'd be amazing.
I mean, it's legitimately in a barn. It's in a barn. That's not an exaggeration. And you can see it from the road. The barn you can see from the road. It's very like this little nothing, but it's then inside of it is like an 80s drag C2. We could try to find.
This is how big it is, and this is how important it is to me. I would give up a lot for that. Like I have a couple of cars that are untouchable, like Blasphemy, that won't leave my household. My wife's El Camino, that's a family heirloom. But the rest of it, that's negotiable.
Oh, yeah. I feel you, man. Yeah, I'm kind of like the same way. Like, my Demon I want to keep forever. Yep. But most everything else I would probably eventually, I don't want to be, Jay Leno, where like you got 38 million cars and you got to pay some dude and you can never like enjoy, I think if you have like 12, 15 cars max, like, and they come in and out, really like 8 or 9 is probably good, but let's say 15 because I have 11 right now. Just enjoy them. And then like, look, you don't need to keep it for you. Have it, experience it, see if it's cool. Like I bought this Porsche, it's cool, I like it. I don't want a convertible. I'll probably get rid of it in a couple of months or whatever. But bucket list cars for me are a little, well, let's start. I want to see C3 vet at some point. I love the C3. I love it's like
Sharknado body
with the fin, the gills. That's my favorite. I would love to have just a street car, not like a crazy, like a rowdy street car. That's my favorite. I want to have when I was looking for my Demon, I almost bought a 72 Roadrunner, black with white stripes, a 340 pistol grip 4-speed car. And that car is it just gave me the weirdest feeling in my pants. At that point, as like a 15-year-old kid, I was like,
how do I explain what's happening to me?
I was like, I can't even believe this is a car you could buy. Like it's the sleekest, it's big, but it's sleek and like it's tough. And it's also like curvy. It's such a good car. So I know like, Dulce's got a couple of that chassis. It's only a 2-year car, 71, 72 really. I would really love to find it. I would like to do almost the same exact thing, the car that I wanted. So, that's a good one. The Corvette's a good one. But I want a bunch of weird stuff too. I want a Merkur XR4 Ti at some point.
That's totally weird.
Like those are silly and they're cheap. I'll get one of those at some point.
They're ugly and they're weird. I have one more on my list, but it'll never ever happen because I would never spend the money on something like that. But an old school Pantera, I just love.
10 years ago you could have bought one, but they're nuts now. That's an awesome car.
Dude, Ben Brown's in the live chat.
What's up?
Ben Brown was the dude that helped us on Drag Week.
Oh
yeah.
He's a good
Newbern. Bucket list cars. What do you need still? You're not getting any younger.
I don't know. I really want like a 33 or 34 5 Window coupe.
That'd be cool.
What did your dad have?
We got a 34 sedan.
Okay. Yeah.
It's close, but
Coupe.
you know, I want the sporty version.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So last question for everybody before we go. Roadkill fleet, Hot Rod Garage fleet. Is there anything still in either of those fleets that either of you would want? Because they've sold a bunch of cars recently. I just saw an ad today that the Super Slammy Samurai, whatever you want to call that thing.
Send that to David. Yeah.
Yeah. It's on Craigslist for sale or something right now because they got rid of it.
Our like all time, whatever happened to one hit wonder car, our 65 Le Mans. That Lucky and I took this Le Mans convertible that like the back had rusted off of, and we put quarter panels on it, but then we pulled the body off. We did like, you know, full under bracing, box the frame with like, I think it's HPI, like crazy kit on there, powder coated the frame, QA1 everything, Gear Star trans, and put a Holly Sniper on it. And then we drove it to Denver to get painted at tech school that we used to work with, and never heard, like everyone was like, we love that road trip. It was, you know, we drove through the snow without a top on. It was like Dumb and Dumber come to life. I mean, it was ridiculous. So people loved it, and they're like, where's that car? And I was like, yes, I want this car to be done. It's so cool. The interior was decent. And then we like never heard back for a year or two. And finally I was like, yo, like to our like the people at the company, like we should get this car back. Like it's awesome. And it never got like fully finished and like fulfilled its destiny. And we got it back and sold it. We got it back and sold it for nothing. And the guy that bought it slabbed it together and spray painted it black, and it just sold on Bring a Trailer for like 17 grand like 2 days ago.
Oh, dude.
Like you're killing me.
Oh man. All right, I know I said last question, but let's go to the comments real quick because people are asking questions, and I think Cletus McFarland's in the comment section actually. I didn't see him post, but everybody's saying his name right now. Let's see. Who's got questions for Tony Angelo before we get up on out of here? All right, NL Stitch, where is the Rotson? The Rotson is in an upcoming episode of Roadkill. And it was probably the most fun I've ever had driving that car. I took the Rotson around Laguna Seca, and it was incredible for 3 or 4 seconds at a time. And then it wasn't incredible. But once again, it tickled my naughty bits and showed me the potential of the Rotson. Just no follow through as usual because it's the Rotson.
Yeah.
What else? What happened to the AMC? I think it's been sold.
Oh, that blue AMC, that thing was cool.
Yeah, worst driving car I've ever had. Would not drive. Yeah, it would not drive straight because of what someone had done with the steering and the arms and everything in the front end. It did this all the way down the road. Sketchy. Tony, you see any questions you want to answer?
Somebody said, will I do anything with Ken Block? Maybe some finnegan Ken is awesome. Obviously, the Finnegan stuff is rad. I have work to fix the audio on my channel. Relax.
What's up with the bone marrow?
Bone marrow is going to get sort of like a touch of class this year. We've done the dirty, cheap, garbage thing for so long, and it's treated us so well that like I think we're gonna put some fiberglass on it, paint it, and put an interior, like make it a halfway decent car. Because if you guys watch the Hoopty like Christmas special, it like wouldn't run and it needs a fuel cell, and it was like killing me to watch it get trounced out there. So we're gonna put some time into it and make it sweet.
What happened to the Elko with the Cummins in it? That thing was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna put the Barra motor in it this year. The Vortec 4200, the big one. And then we're gonna race a guy in a real Barra with like a Barra powered Ford hot rod.
I love this.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this.
That's a nice car.
Yeah. All right, one more for Tony, and we'll let him go because he's busy.
Wait, some guy gave $5. Answer his question. Are long beds becoming cool like wagons and vans became cool? Yes, I agree with that. Long beds are tight and underrated.
So I'm staring at a C10 long bed with a camper shell on it that's been there since day one. And I'm like, dude, you put a camper shell on a long bed. I like it. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The 22s helped as well. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with a long bed.
No.
They'll never look as great as a short bed if you're making it a sporty truck, but no, long beds are dope. I'm down.
Yeah. What happened to the Earl Camino? That's a good one.
We talked about it last time we live streamed. The Earl Camino is in the possession of our friend Lanky. who's got it back on the road,
Mhm.
driving around, and it's part of the family. It's in good hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that car.
Before we go, everybody, please go subscribe to Tony's YouTube channel. Stay tuned. It's awesome. He's making killer content. You guys should watch it. Also, this Friday, 9 p.m., February 19th, come back here. We will have trivia night where we will be giving away a Silver Sport Transmissions Tremec T56 6-speed Magnum and install kit for your hot rod or muscle car.
That is rad. Very cool.
It's going to be badass. So thanks, everybody. Thank you, Tony. And we'll see you guys Friday night at 9 p.m.
Great. All right, guys. Later. Love you, dudes.
Later, homie. I'll call you.